Forget the crystal balls. Forget the price charts. We're not here to predict the future. We're here to reconstruct the past. Today, we're diving deep on-chain to investigate a case of what you might call mathematical destiny.
So the core of our investigation, the big question we're trying to answer is pretty radical. Can a protocol's code, its very DNA, actually guarantee a specific future? Can pure math bend the will of the market? Well, let's find out.
And I want to be really clear about this. This isn't speculation. This is a forensic analysis, pure and simple. We've dug through 199 straight days of on-chain data, all to answer one single question. Does the evidence actually back up the protocol's biggest claim?
All right, so let's get into the heart of the case. It's this idea called the Convergence Thesis. And it sounds pretty simple, but the implications are huge. The whole theory is that there's this mathematical tipping point, right? A moment where the number of tokens being destroyed every day permanently overtakes the number being created. And after that point, well, the supply is literally hard-coded to shrink. Forever. Think of this as the battlefield. It's a tug of war. On one side, you've got this shrinking target, the daily token emissions, which are designed to go down over time. And on the other side, you have this relentless, growing pressure, the daily token burns, which are engineered to go up. Our entire investigation is about breaking down these two opposing forces. Okay, let's open the case file. Our first piece of evidence, Exhibit A, is the emission decay. This is the part of the equation that's always getting smaller. And that's not by accident, it's by design.
And the key number here is negative 0.008% per day. This isn't a variable, it's not a suggestion, it's hard-coded into the protocol. It's a law. Think of it as this constant, compounding downward pressure on new supply, just ticking away every single day like a clock.
So, after 199 days of this constant decay, this is where we're at today. The protocol is set to emit 85,345 PLAZM tokens. That's about $1,100. This is the target. This is the number that the burn engine has to catch and overtake. Keep that number in your head. All right, now let's flip the script and look at the other side of the equation. This is Exhibit B, the burn engine. This is the machine designed to create that ever-increasing upward pressure we talked about.
And just look at what this engine has already done. I mean, this is the cumulative effect right here. After just 199 days, an incredible 18% of the entire PLAZM supply has been permanently destroyed. That's 2.72 million tokens, just gone, wiped from existence. So you're probably wondering, how does that even happen? Well, the burn mechanism isn't just magic. It's not pulling tokens out of thin air. It's funded by real yield, which is generated from a vault of assets that's always growing. And as of today, that vault holds over 212 ETH.
And the on-chain evidence is crystal clear. This isn't some static pool of money. It's a living, breathing, growing treasury. The trajectory is just undeniable. And see, more assets in that vault means more yield. And that yield is the fuel for the burn engine. This growth right here, this is the foundation of the whole convergence idea.
And this is where it gets really clever. It's basically a self-reinforcing flywheel. So it starts with the vault growing, right? Those assets are put to work and they generate yield, about $395 a day right now. 65% of that yield goes to buy PLAZM tokens off the market and just burn them. But here's the kicker. Another 20% of that yield is used to buy more bonds, which makes the vault bigger, which then generates even more yield. It's like a perpetual motion machine for creating value.
And that brings us to this number, 2.07. What is that? That's how many new bonds the protocol is buying for itself every single day, using its own yield. And this is so important to understand. It requires 0 new users, 0 external capital. The system is literally feeding itself.
Okay, so we've examined Exhibit A. That's the shrinking target. And we've looked at Exhibit B, the growing pressure. Now it's time to put it all together. Let's run the numbers and see just how close we are to convergence.
So here's a snapshot of where things stand right now today. On the one hand, you have 85,345 tokens being created. On the other, almost 20,000 are being destroyed. What that means is, as of day 199, the burn engine is already canceling out about 23% of all new emissions, every single day.
So the math is pretty simple. To hit that convergence point, the burn rate needs to increase by about 4 times. That sounds like a lot. But the data on-chain shows there are actually 3 different compounding forces all pushing in that same direction, all working to close that gap. Let's quickly break those down.
First, you've got the vault zone growth. We've seen how it buys more bonds for itself, which generates more yield. That's a huge one. Second, there's the price of ETH. If ETH goes up in value, that same pile of ETH generates more US dollars, which means more buying power for the burn. And third, you've got that emission decay, always working in the background, making the target smaller and smaller every single day.
All right, time for the closing arguments. Based on all the evidence we've collected over these 199 days, it's time to render a verdict on our investigation.
If you look at the forensic timeline, the trajectory is just unmistakable. From the day the protocol launched to hitting key milestones like the millionth token burned or the vault crossing 100 ETH, the momentum is literally written into the blockchain. And today, that has all led to 18% of the entire supply being destroyed.
So let's just lay out the hard, verifiable facts that form our verdict. 18% of the total supply is gone. Forever. The vault has grown to 212 ETH, and it's kicking off almost $400 in real yield every day. That buy and grow feature is adding over 2 bonds a day all on its own. And of course, the emission schedule is mathematically guaranteed to shrink. These aren't opinions or theories. These are just immutable facts, recorded on-chain for anyone to see.
So our conclusion, based on 199 days of irrefutable evidence, is this. The question is no longer if convergence will happen. The mechanisms are proven, they're operational, they've been working day in and day out for months. The only question left is, at what pace? And that pace, as we've seen, will be driven by those 3 compounding forces we identified.
And of course, we have to end with a note of caution. This entire analysis is based on public, on-chain data, and it's purely for educational purposes. This is absolutely not financial advice. The facts of the last 199 days are clear, but the future is still unwritten. So please, do your own investigation.